one webinar. I haven't had to do it again.
How long did you put into putting that webinar together, if you don't mind asking? Like how quick was the process to put it together to then have an automated system for a whole year that made you 220 grand?
Probably about a week.
A week's worth of work to get 222 grand.
Literally.
Would you say there's anything special about you that made you like you can do it, Fez can do it, John can do it, but not me?
Literally nothing.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's John Penberthy here, founder of AdClients.com, a marketing education company. We've done $15 million selling our courses and coaching, and we specialize in helping people do the same thing. And today, we've got something very special for you. We are starting a new series called Student Spotlight, and today is episode 1. We've been teaching and coaching students to do what we do for a very long time, running traffic, building funnels, and selling their programs. And we've got so many students now that have got some outrageous results. And here in this series, we're going to bring out some of our successful students and have them peel back the curtains on what it is that they did to get the results that they have. 6-7-figure businesses. It's one thing to learn from me. It's another thing to learn from people that learned from me, took action, implemented it, and got some great results. So we're going to roll straight into episode 1 right now. If you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We've got a bunch more interviews lined up that we're excited to share with you and post right here on the channel. It's my creative director, Pete, who's conducting these interviews. So in case you're confused and think I grew a big beard, no, not me, not possible. It's Pete. So Pete, over to you. Excited to hear this one.
Yeah, well, can you hear me?
There you are.
Tech seems to be my worst enemy today, so I completely understand how you feel. To start with, if you want to just introduce yourself and kind of what business you're in right now, and what you were doing before you started working with us.
Yeah, so I'm a personal trainer by trade. I was doing that for around 10 years. In a gym, just like a normal personal trainer kind of job. I was doing it fairly well, earning 35K per year. And then always wanted to kind of branch online. Came across John one night on YouTube. Didn't even think about it. It was really late. And you know, when you do stupid things, when you're really, really tired, it was one of them, yeah, whatever, I'll watch it. And then, yeah, that's it. I kind of started really, really fast, as in I was waking up really early, doing all the learning really, really quickly. And then got my ads basically live a couple of months later. And then, yeah, a year later, 200K in sales.
So amazing. So why was it that you were looking to come online? What was your reason for you to want to do that? Was there anything that you were dealing with in your business you just wanted to change, or was it lifestyle or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, over the last 10 years, I was having to get up and train clients at 6 a.m., you know, and, you know, I was working long, you know, I was working really early in the morning. I was having to work evenings, and it just wasn't great hours. You know, my kind of break in my day was kind of between midday and 4 o'clock, when everyone's busy doing stuff anyway, you know? So I knew that online was growing, and I knew that I needed to kind of do that. And COVID kind of triggered it. It was a catalyst. It was like, well, you know, I can either just sit, you know, not doing anything, or I can actually use this and think, right, okay, let's go for it.
So have you seen like other people online doing the same kind of thing, and that's kind of what enticed you, or did you already have the idea from the beginning that you wanted to get online at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I saw personal trainers online, and I'd even started it prior to seeing John, and that's where I was charging literally for the same thing I'm doing now. That's the crazy thing. In terms of the level of service, yes, I don't have, you know, my online modules and lessons and things that I have now, but in reality, in terms of my time involvement, I was doing the same service that I'm doing right now with my clients, but I was charging them 30 to 40 pounds a month, as opposed to charging them $2.5 grand for a 90-day plan, you know? And it was that realization that, you know, I was a bit nervous initially, thinking people won't pay that, because I was used to people telling me that even 30 pounds a month was a bit tight, you know? And it was that realization, actually, if you find the right people, then, you know, it'll be actually really straightforward, you know, telling them about the plan. And now I'm actually looking at increasing my prices. So it's that whole mindset change.
So would you say that was one of the biggest mindset changes you had then, just increasing your prices? Was one big kind of breakthrough that you had?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was that realization that you don't need to target the whole market. You know, that's what I was looking at, you know, previously. And if you're targeting is right, they'll come, the people will find you. So
have you tried advertising or anything like that at the beginning? Did you think it was possible to like find those kind of people that would pay $2.5 grand for 90 days?
Yeah, I mean, I had tried advertising on like Facebook and things, and that's where I did get my initial clients. But, I didn't really know how to target all the right people. And again, the service was the exact same, so the actual product hasn't really changed much. Yes,
so it was your offer.
Yeah,
it was your offer that was like a big thing, that was actually the big breakthrough that you had.
Yeah, exactly. And just targeting those right people with the right messaging. That's the kind of key things that I've kind of learned. So
nice. So was there anything else you tried before you came and met us or anything like that, and you knew what to do? Was there anything that you kind of tried your hand in and dabbled with that hadn't necessarily, maybe that other people in your situation maybe also have tried and are failing with or struggling with, and things like that?
Yeah, I tried all the usual, posting every day on Instagram and, posting on Facebook and trying to advertise on Facebook and, trying to find the clients. But it was just so much time. You'd post every single day and then you'd get 2 people liking your comments. It was just it was so much effort and yes, if I carried that on years and years and years later, when I've got 1,000+ people on my page, then I can start to advertise. So I guess I was there for the long run, but realistically, I just wouldn't have had that time anyway. So yeah, it was just not targeted enough, and the messaging was just all off.
So what would you say? I mean, we've already kind of mentioned that your offer was like the biggest breakthrough that you had, kind of that brick wall that was there that was kind of stopping you from reaching your kind of full potential, if that makes sense. But on that journey, was there like anything that stood out to you which was just like the hardest thing that you had to do in the whole journey, whether it was before or working with us or with working with us?
Yeah, I mean, I say, the kind of hardest bit, it sounds strange, but although again I have earned 200k in the last year, it's been very, very simple and straightforward to do because the teaching's been literally A to Z, like, having all you guys to hand, when I need to record some videos, I contact you, Pete, and you normally message back within a day and I've got everything I need. And if something's wrong with my adverts or I'm not sure with something with that, I contact Aaron. And so everything's been there, The hardest thing was that initial mindset and believing in myself, because obviously, because we speak to people on the phone, that's where, that's where we pick up the initial clients from. It was that initial mindset where initially I didn't believe it. I was like, I'm probably going to have to, yes, I'm going to start off and reluctantly say, right, it's $2.5 grand, but if you want, I'll take 500-600, It was that initial mindset. That was definitely the kind of hardest thing to initially change.
So had you done phone sales before, like working with our process?
No, never. I would literally, avoid it, anything on the phone, I'd get all stammery and I'd be absolutely just all off it massively, So phone sales, the idea of doing phone sales would just be a million miles away. Never, ever. But again, literally even now, a year later, I've got my exact script. I've got a call later, the same script that I've had for the last year, that I got off the scripting, the kind of, exactly how to learn how you do your calls bit. I use that same script even now. I barely look at it, but it's just that peace of mind, just having that there. So that made things a lot easier. So initially I kind of just thought, I'm just going to stick with the script and see what happens, and it took off.
How often is that script closing for you?
It is closing at around 40%.
Nice. That's a good number.
Yeah,
nice. All right, cool. So what has kind of been the biggest lesson that you've learned while doing it? Like what has been that kind of, I mean, we talked about the offer being like a big thing, but maybe you want to go deeper onto that. But like, what was that big, like, oh my goodness, that has changed it all for me moment?
It's the fact that I've got this ridiculous, it's like I've got this team right there behind the scenes that takes absolute strangers and books in a call with me. And as far as I'm concerned, I just see a name come up on my Calendly saying this person's arranged a call with you. But as far as they're concerned, they've done these 11 steps to even arrange a call with me. That's the best bit about it all. Because although, as far as I'm concerned, I probably have a few calls a day and I'm having to work a few hours in the day, as far as they're concerned, I've spent hours doing, you know, these trainings and reading their forms and these kind of things. So it's the fact that I've got this massive machine working behind the scenes. That's a really cool aspect, and that's what kind of made me think, as long as I can put that machine onto TikTok and onto Facebook and Instagram, I just got to you know, just put it out there. That's it, and then let it do all the work. You know, let it do all the heavy lifting, and then I'll just pick up the phone, you know?
That's awesome. And so you were just talking about the fact that you use a webinar funnel, right?
Yes.
Like we teach, obviously, to our clients.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming you hadn't done webinars before, right?
Never.
No webinars before. So what was that like? Because I know that webinars can be quite a daunting thing to some people. Firstly, they think that they don't work. Secondly, they think it's a lot more work than actually you think it is. And maybe you'll tell us about that. But like, what was your experience in working with us to create your webinar? Or like, how was that process for you? Was it easy? Was it hard? Like,
yeah, I mean, you know, initially, my initial thoughts were, oh my God, I've got to be live in front of all these people. And, but it was, you know, it was the initial thinking that, because literally, you know, I was doing it all on my Mac. I just had, you know, my slides open, and the fact that, you know, it's just like you're just recording your voice over some slides. So at the initial point, you know, it doesn't even feel like you're doing a live thing. It's just a screen recording, you know, and then only when you're perfectly happy with it, then you stick it on the internet, you know. So that bit initially, prior to knowing that it wasn't live, I was a bit, ooh, I don't know, you know, but then realizing that actually it's just a recording, you know, and you can take your time with it and make sure it's, you know, it's perfect. But that's another really quick point, actually. It doesn't need to be perfect. That's something else as well. I 100%. Thought everything's got to be absolutely crystal clear, perfect, you know, but the whole point is to make it sound like it's a real human being and not a robot reading, you know. So it was also that. So anything I do now, you know, even you know, if I put any posts out or anything, I try to make them sound very real and normal, and doesn't need to be so scripted and perfect now. So that webinar that you've got recorded now that's running, how many times have you had to redo that, or have you had one webinar running that's been producing this income for you? It is literally one webinar.
So that one webinar that you created with us has gone on to make you what, 202,000 this year?
Yeah, or it's now 222.
222,000 this year. Yeah, that's insane. Just one webinar. One
webinar. Since that you know, last March, I haven't had to do it again. How long did you put into putting that webinar together, if you don't mind asking? Like how quick was the process to put it together to then have an automated system for a whole year that made you 220 grand? Probably about a week.
A week's worth of work to get 222 grand.
Literally, you know.
It almost sounds unbelievable. And that leads me on to a good point, actually. So you know it's possible now, right? Yeah. Like you've done it, and you're probably going to be scaling, and hopefully next year you'll be closer to the 500,000 in a year or something like that. But did you ever think that was possible?
No, I didn't. You know, I didn't realize that it would be as simple as it is. You know, it's just so simple, and I'm thinking, why the hell was I not doing this before? All you need to do is put yourself in front of people that want your service. And it was that as well. It's not me trying to find them. They're actually looking for people like me, and I've just put myself in, you know, in the right place at the right time for them. So yeah, again, it's just other things doing all the heavy lifting. And like I said, a year ago, I did I recorded my webinar back then, and I have no intention of changing it right now. Not on this product anyway. There's no point. It's working so well.
So now you've got it working, and you've obviously been through our process and everything. So I just want to know what like originally drew you to working with us and working with the team at AdClients.
Yeah, it was the again, the idea that I knew that I needed to go online. I'd already spent a couple of years really trying to do things, and you know, back then a few £1,000s was quite a lot, you know, to spend on adverts and things. But it was the realization that I'm spending a few £1,000s and really it's made me nothing, you know, except for maybe 20 or 30 pounds per month. And, you know, I remember thinking, right, if I charge £40 a month, and if I can get 100 clients in, that's £4,000 a month. That would be insane, you know? But even then I'd managed to get 10 or 15 because I didn't have the time to actually put into it, you know, because, you know, again, I wasn't charging enough. So So yeah, it was that initial kind of thinking, I guess.
So you tried ads before, right? But had you tried any coaching before working with us, or any training with anyone before this?
Not really. I kind of looked a bit on YouTube and how to do things, but it's just it's for everybody, isn't it? And you don't know where to look. You don't know which is the right sort of thing for your industry, and you don't know what's updated. And again, even it's about yeah, they might teach you what has worked for them, but they don't teach you how to actually do it. Whereas what has worked with me and the help like from you guys and John and all the kind of teaching is it's literally step by step. I'm not if somebody was to see, and even now people they ask me, they say, Fez, what's going on? Because because in this year I'm looking to buy a house literally in the next couple of months, right? And last year we were looking to buy a house that was about 280,000. This year we're looking to buy a house at 600,000. And people who know me that haven't been told about this is saying, okay, Fez, like, are you doing something dodgy? Like, what is actually going on here? And I briefly explain it to them. I say, look, I advertise on YouTube, and people say, oh, I've seen you on YouTube, but I still don't really know. I say, I advertise on there. This online machine does all the work, where I've got a class and this and this and this. And people think that I'm like a computer whiz. They think that, oh my God, you must be like amazing at IT. And I'm like, I literally haven't got a clue. I'm just doing the basic steps, because even now it's just the same processes. It's just so simple to do. Once you learn it once, it's there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So how quickly, and I think we've mentioned this before already, but how quickly after launching did you start seeing results?
So literally straight away, after a few days, I had my first call in. My third call converted nice. For $2,500, which again would have been a month's income, and I got that from a 45-minute phone call.
How much did you spend to get that $2,500 at your first week?
Literally a few £100.
A couple £100 in the first week, and that got you got you a 2.5K client. That's right.
Yeah. Amazing. So initially I kind of thought, right, I'm going to spend £400-500 just to test it all out, see what's working, see how things are, and I was okay to lose that initially, just knowing that you need to see how things go first. And because I guess because the kind of teaching was so simple, and I stuck to it to a T. I just I did exactly what you advised, what Aaron advised, and what the others all the steps were. The machine it did all the work, so like I said, I got a call initially, like after 2 days I got my first call in, and like I said, on my third day I converted my first person, so.
You just touched on something that I find quite interesting, is that it's literally just all about the right mindset in which you're doing this in as well. Like you just talked about how this time you were happy about spending a couple of hundred. But like previously in this chat or whatever, you said that like you spent a couple of thousand advertising and it was kind of scary, and it was actually like that was a lot of money to spend and not get any reward. But
exactly,
it's mad, isn't it? Like some people just need to know that you're spending a couple of hundred, but you're not getting nothing back. You're getting data. And I think that's a really big misconception that a lot of people that before they come into our coaching, or maybe even someone else's coaching, to realize is that, yes, you're spending a couple of hundred, but you didn't even look phased by them because you already knew that you had a working machine. Well, you didn't even know it was working. You had a machine, and you had kind of that faith in that, like, I've done everything. I've done the step by step. And this time, this couple of hundred is going to give me some data rather than just lose it, if that makes sense. And I think that's a really good point, because so many people fret, so many people panic. They're like, oh my word, I just spent a couple of hundred and got nothing from it. But you can go back in and see what you spent it on, who actually clicked, and all this kind of stuff, and you can next time spend a couple of hundred and make some money from it because you know what you did wrong the first time. And I think it's super important.
Exactly.
And I guess that kind of helps with us, isn't it? Because like if you spent that couple of hundred and you didn't get any results from it, well then you could kind of talk to us and say what went wrong. And I suppose that's a benefit of being inside our kind of coaching.
Yeah, exactly. I remember I sent you, Pete, my first advert that I did, and you told me to tweak a couple of little things. You said, like just little things like, targeting. Initially are you a female over 40? Whereas initially I said, females over 40 do this. And then you said, instead, why don't you say, are you a female over 40? And even now, that same advert is still going right now.
Same ad from a year ago.
That same advert is still going right now.
Goodness me.
I've probably spent about 20 grand on just that one advert.
Yeah.
Obviously I've got a few other things out there, but you know, I recorded like a couple of adverts as recently as last month, and even now that original advert is still you know, it's still doing really, really well. So if it's not,
you just send these new ones into me then, man. I'll tell you how to fix them.
Yeah, exactly. But and they all say that to me. They say that that there's something about your advert, Fez, that just makes it sound really good. And obviously I say, yeah, that was all me. But in reality, it was all you, Pete. So yeah,
I'll be taking a cut of that 200 grand then, right? Yeah. No, I get you. And that's one of the biggest things we teach, isn't it? Displayed understanding. It's like, you're not talking about someone, you're talking to someone about their problems, understanding their problems, showing you understand their problems. And it's one of the biggest drivers, one of the biggest catalysts to someone wanting to spend money when you become a client, is knowing that they feel understood. So yeah, your first week, obviously that's a big milestone, like closing your third call. And I suppose your first month earning, what was it, 11 grand in your first month of running
11 grand. Yeah.
That's a big milestone. So maybe that is what you're about to say, but what has been your biggest milestone so far? Whether that's lifestyle, monetary, a client that you've managed to help because of this, or anything. Like what's been your biggest milestone?
That's a difficult question, because there's just so many things. It's literally changed everything. Like it's changed everything, you know, from home life, you know, to, you know, not feeling like my missus also has to work for us to buy a house that we want, you know, being able to now buy a house that can potentially and will most likely be a lifelong house as opposed to just a stepping stone house. And again, being able to have the time, not having to get up at 5 a.m. like, to train people that you don't even like in the gym, you know, it's, it literally is that. It's given me more time. I'm in complete control. You know, I can go onto my Calendly and I can change when I want calls in. And if I want to have a day off, I have a day off. Just having that complete control, but also knowing that it's still working behind the scenes. You know, it feels like I've got, you know, a team, which is you guys. So when I need some help with the adverts, when I need some help with the videos, when I need some help with, you know, if something doesn't work right or whatever, I'm not a whiz on Kartra and these other pages and, you know, knowing how to do all this stuff. But I know someone who is, Josh, and I'll just reach out and contact him, you know. So it really does feel like I've got a full-on team. You know, it feels like, you know, you guys work for me as well. You know, it's crazy. So
just off that, would just for anyone that watches this, like, would you say there's anything special about you that maybe you can do it, Fez can do it, John can do it, but not me?
Literally nothing. Like I am, you know, previously I would have been awful on the phone, right? Like I said, I've had a stammer all my life. Speaking to people on the phone, no way, like never. But again, because you've just got a simple script, it's so easy, you know. And again, the most I've done on Facebook is using MSN Messenger back in the day. Literally, like nothing.
Just to kind of finish up, what in one or two sentences could you summarize just where you are right now then? Like where you are in this situation, what's your goals for the future, maybe?
Yeah, so right now, you know, the business is going really well. I'm making a solid 18 to 19 grand per month without really doing anything different. Again, I've got the whole process working behind the scenes that's still just, you know, it's just on its way doing its thing. The plan is I want to, because I've got so much more time, I can now start to look at other sort of avenues, looking at TikTok and Instagram, and I'm starting to focus a bit more on that. But I'm actually looking at the next level up now. So because it's been so simple for me, as a simple personal trainer, I'm actually looking at doing what I've done, but making another product. So instead of targeting actual clients that want to lose weight, I'm looking at actually targeting personal trainers that want to do what I've done. Because if I like literally, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Because it is just so simple. I'm not, you know, I'm not a genius. All I did was I just put in the time initially. I just put in that initial effort for the first month or two, and then literally, you know, away it went. So
like once you learn the process once, you can just rinse and repeat, you know.
That's it. Like riding a bike. Just literally just keep going, you know. It's so simple.
So to kind of like finish up, I wonder if for any reason, any like budding entrepreneurs or people in your space, or like people that in a situation right now where they're like, should I go after this business idea that I have, if they're an expert or a coach or anything like that, like maybe if you have any advice for them, if you have any like tips, tricks, advice that you've got along the way, literally anything that you think would be helpful for that kind of person in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's that, you know, I would advise that try and get some help, you know, because again, I was struggling for years and years on my own, and there is a lot to it. You know, there's a lot to add to knowing how to advertise and who to advertise to, and knowing what product to put there in place ready for people, you know. So get some help. That's what I would say straight away. Don't try and do it on your own, because you'll spend years and years struggling, spending time, spending money, and just not really making any moves. And sooner or later, you'll either stop doing it, or you will get some help sooner or later anyway, you know. Initially, I was scared to spend, literally, I would spend £5 a day on an advert to kind of test it. Now I spend around £6 a month on adverts, more than twice what I would earn in a full month. I'm now spending monthly, but I know that £6 a month will, you know, make me 18 to 19 grand a month easily, you know. So yeah, you know, I would say get some help. I would say, you know, it's I was struggling on my own for years, and it was that kind of leap of faith that I kind of thought, you know what, fine, let's just hear what they've got to say, you know. And because it all made sense, I kind of just went for it. I thought, yeah, this makes sense.
Awesome. Mate, it's been wonderful to chat to you, man. Thank you so much for spending some time talking to me. It's like, I'm even just fired up. Remember, like, we speak back and forth fairly often, but like just being able to speak to you face to face and hear all the, because we know that you get amazing amazing results, but it's just so good to hear it over and over again. It's the thing that fires us up, is to see our clients just absolutely crushing it. And it just makes me want to go out and find some more clients and help them crush it as well. But yeah, thank you so much for spending time with me, man.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, like really appreciate this, and I'm sure we'll be chatting soon. Maybe send those ads over to me, because if they're not outperforming your last ad, then we need to do some work. So I need to get.
I'll send them over to you.
Bless, man. Thank you so much, man. I hope you have a fantastic day.
Thanks, dude. Speak soon.
Peace out, buddy. All right, see you later, man.
Cheers, buddy.
Bye.